U.S. Coast Guard cutter Alex Haley, WMEC 39, ex-USS Edenton, ATS-1. Her motto, find the good and praise it. Her keel was laid down 28 March 1967. She was launched 15 May 1968. Commissioned in the USN 23 March 1971. Decommissioned 29 March 1996. She was commissioned in the U.S. Coast Guard 10 July 1999. She has a displacement of 2,592 tons, light 3,484 tons full load. Her length 283 feet, her beam 59 feet, her draft 17 feet. Propulsion 4 Caterpillar diesels, twin screw, with a speed of 18 knots. Range 10,000 miles, has a complement of 10 officers and 90 enlisted, plus 4 aircrew. Data for the Ute, Lipan, Avoyel, Cholula, Cherokee, and Tamarora. The length 205 feet, the beam 38 feet 6 inches, draft 15 feet 4 inches. Propulsion diesel electric with 4 Alice Chalmers 12 278A diesel main engines driving 4 generators. She had 3 General Motors 3 268A auxiliary service engines. She was single screw, had a speed of 16 knots, complement of 8 officers and 68 enlisted men. Cutter Avoyel, WMEC 150. Builder, Charleston Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company, Charleston, South Carolina. She was laid down 25 March 1944, launched 9 August 1944, commissioned USN 8 January 1945, decommissioned 11 January 1947, commissioned U.S. Coast Guard 3 October 1956, decommissioned 1969. Avoyel was happy to have Eureka, California for her home port. Cutter Cherokee, WMEC 165, WAT 165, AT 66. Built by Bethlehem Steel Shipbuilding, Staten Island, New York. Keel laid 23 December 1938. Launched 10 November 1939. Commissioned USN 26 April 1940. Commissioned U.S. Coast Guard 29 June 1946. Cherokee was decommissioned 30 January 1990 and sunk as a target. Cherokee called Norfolk its home. Cutter Cholula, WMEC 153, WATF 153, ATF 153. Built by Charleston Shipbuilding and Dry Dock, Charleston, South Carolina. Keel laid 13 July 1944. Launched 1 December 1944. Commissioned USN 5 April 1945. Commissioned U.S. Coast Guard 3 October 1956. She was decommissioned 19 June 1991. Cutter Lipan, WMEC 85, ATF 85. Builder, United Engineering Company, Alameda, California. Keel laid down 30 May 1942. Launched 17 September 1942. She was commissioned in the USN 29 April 1943 and commissioned in the Coast Guard 30 September 1980. She was decommissioned 31 March 1988. Cutter Tamarora, WMEC 166, WAT 166, ATF 95. Built by Commercial Iron Works, Portland, Oregon. Keel laid 8 March 1943. Launched 31 July 1943. Commissioned USN 9 October 1943. Commissioned Coast Guard 29 June 1946. Decommissioned 1 February 1994. Cutter Ute, WMEC 76, ATF 76. Built by United Engineering Company, Alameda, California, with her keel laid 27 February 1942, launched 24 June 1942. She was commissioned in the USN 13 December 1942. Commissioned in the Coast Guard 30 September 1980. She was decommissioned May 1988. This data for Escape, Acushnet, and Yokona, built by Basalt Rock Company, Napa, California. Displacement 720 long tons. Length 213 feet 6 inches. Beam 39 feet. Draft 14 feet 4 inches. Propulsion diesel electric. 4 Fairbanks Morse 6-cylinder opposed piston engines, driving 4 generators and motors, driving 2 shafts with 3,460 horsepower, with a speed of 15 knots. U.S. Coast Guard cutter Acushnet, WAT-167, WHEC-167, WAGO-167. She's the ex-USS Shackle ARS-9. Her motto, help, save, strengthen. Her keel was laid down 26 October 1942 and launched 1 April 1943. She was commissioned in the USN February 4th, 1944. Decommissioned 29 June 1946. Commissioned in the U.S. Coast Guard as Acushnet 23 August 1946 and decommissioned 1 March 2001. Her home ports were Portland, Maine, Gulfport, Mississippi, and Ketchikan, Alaska. The Escape, WMEC-6, and in the Navy, ARS-6. Her keel was laid 24 August 1942, launched 22 November 1942, commissioned in the USN 20 November 1943, commissioned in the U.S. Coast Guard 5 January 1980. She was decommissioned 29 June 1995. The cutter Yokona, WMEC-168, WAT-168. She's the ex-USS Seas ARS-26. Her keel was laid 28 September 1943, launched 8 April 1944. Commissioned in the USN 3 November 1944. Commissioned in the U.S. Coast Guard 28 June 1946. She was decommissioned 14 June 1996. Displacement 754 tons. Length 143 feet. Beam 33 feet 10 inches. Draft 13 foot 3 inches. Machinery 2 electric motors, 2 GM diesel generators. Single screw 12 knots for 7,300 miles. 8.5 knots for 12,000 miles. Cutter Comanche ex Wampanoag, WMEC 202, ATA 202, ATR 129. Built by Gulfport Boiler and Welding Works, Port Arthur, Texas. Keel laid 24 August 1944. Launched 10 October 1944. Commissioned in the USN 8 December 1944. Commissioned U.S. Coast Guard 25 February 1959. Decommissioned 1979. Cutter Modoc ex Bagaduce, WMEC 194, ATA 194, ATR 121. Built by Levinson Shipbuilding, Orange, Texas. Keel laid 7 November 1944. Launched 4 December 1944. Commissioned USN 15 February 1945. Commissioned U.S. Coast Guard 15 April 1959. Decommissioned in 1980.